So welcome everybody. This is episode 12 of Suitcase Divas. My name is Denise Diobaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, so this episode we are doing Am I an Asshole Travel Edition episode. So you might have heard it on TikTok, and so let's go there.
Yeah, so I am excited to read this because Denise is not, really familiar with the Am I the Asshole trend. I love it. I watch it on TikTok. I read it on Reddit. And I was, of course, watching it the other day on TikTok. And I was like, ooh, let's see if they have a travel version of Am I the Asshole? And so I did a deep dive in Reddit and I found quite a few. So I'm excited to read these to Denise and see how and you'll see our reaction. So this first one, I didn't read the whole thing because I kind of wanted us to both be a little bit surprised. So the question, and this was posted a while ago, almost a year ago. Am I the asshole for not letting the passenger in front of me recline their seat on a flight? Hold on, let me say that more clear.
Okay, I'm trying to get a visual here.
Okay, am I the asshole for not letting the passenger in front of me recline their seat on a flight? This is a hot topic we have seen on, in the news. We've seen some fights as travel agents. We get this, we travel a lot. So this is a big issue against people, around people. I, 25 male, am around 6'5", but my legs are long. Normally, I purchase economy plane seats because I have no issue being uncomfortable for a while, especially for shorter flights. I should mention that I take care to never intrude on other people's spaces around me, although occasionally with another tall person with wide shoulders, it can be tight. Last week, I was on a 4-hour international flight with my knees crammed into the seat in front of me. The passenger directly in front of me tried to recline, but realized that my knees were preventing her from doing so. She turned around, gave me a dirty look, and attempted to recline again with more force. Well, that's just... I was a little annoyed, but apologized and told her I could not move my legs out of the way without encroaching on the spaces beside me, i.e. moving my legs to the side into other people's spaces, basically man-spreading. You'd have to man-spread in order, I guess, to make...
I love your term there.
Have you not heard that term, man-spreading?
No, I mean, it just doesn't come up in everyday conversation.
I watch a lot of the public transportation clips on TikTok, and that's a big deal. The man-spreading.
Hashtag man-spreading. Okay. Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it, which is really good. That's awesome to stay in his own space. Now back to, so what he said was, she accused me of doing this on purpose just because I wanted more room for myself, calling me an asshole and saying that if I could not fit into a normal economy plane seat, that I should pay extra for an emergency extra seat so that people around me can have more free space.
Rude.
If I'm honest, right? I feel that people who recline their seats in economy are annoying and inconsiderate, so I didn't exactly bend over backwards to accommodate her.
Okay.
He goes on to say, for more context, no, I did not check to see if this flight in particular had extra emergency exit seats. Like I said, usually I do not feel the need. I do not often run into issues with seats behind me, although these issues of people in front of me not being able to recline has occurred before and has earned me some dirty looks from those in front of me in the past. So, am I the asshole? Should I pay extra for seats with more leg room so that people in front of me can recline, even though this is not always a problem? What say you, Denise?
So this is kind of a tricky one because he is clearly tall at 6'5". And he said it has happened before where he has prevented the person in front of him from reclining. But I will say, if I was that person and I tried to recline and I saw that the person behind me was clearly very tall, and I would just probably give it a pass. I mean, I actually don't ever recline in my seat. I'm just not.
So he's not the asshole in the
I
situation.
don't think he's so here's the thing. I don't think he's an asshole. Because well, I think she was in the wrong to call him an asshole
Yeah,
and to try to tell him how to live his life by ordering, exit row seats or whatever. That's none of her business, honestly.
right.
Um, she should have just stopped, give the dirty look if you want to be that bitch. Um, and just move on with your day, Life's not perfect. Make lemonade out of lemons. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
guy's 6'5". Clearly, in him moving on that flight is not an option. So I would just like suck it up, buttercup, and move
Yeah,
on
he's
my way.
clearly not. I agree. He's not the asshole. I and I think it's shitty to think that
And airline tickets are freaking expensive as it is, basic economy. So
right,
I don't blame him for not wanting to have to. And wasn't he with his niece? He was traveling with his niece. So clearly he's not going to try to move to an row or whatever if he's on a 4-hour flight. You know what I'm saying? At the
right,
end of the day, yes, it's inconvenient for the lady in front of him, or even if it was a guy in front of him, whoever's in front of him, yeah, you can't recline. But I'm just saying, suck it up and just move on with your day. Just make the
right.
best of that situation. It's 4 hours. It's not 4 hours is not a long time. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit uncomfortable, but I don't recline my seat anyway. So I think that
I
she's
usually
not
don't
put out.
either.
Yeah.
I mean my longest flight
My flight
at
from
one
Vegas was
time,
long, 5.5 hours or something like
I was
that.
gonna say when we flew to California, what is that, 5.5? I think that's 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours. And
Yeah,
then
it's a
California
long
to
flight.
Hawaii was
Hmm.
long flight. But that was two flights in a day. But still, we didn't recline. Yeah, I this is a this is a hot topic because the seats are made to recline, but that does that mean you have the right to recline? And because they're not
And you shouldn't be calling people names because you're
right.
not because their legs are too long for you to be able to recline. I mean it's not his fault that
And
he's
the
six
other thing,
five.
like when Brienne was little, under two, and we flew, she sat on my lap because I wasn't paying. I just didn't pay for her.
Right.
She sat on my lap.
Well, and
The
that's like
person in front of
people
me
being
could not
angry at a
recline.
mom with a crying baby. Like it's not the baby's fault. The baby's not like you can't
Well,
control your baby,
yeah, I'm
I
just
would
saying, like,
never do that.
she sits on my lap, so the person in front of me could not recline there
Right.
because if
Okay.
I had my tray table down, it would just squish her. And so yeah, so we both agree, not the asshole. Y'all let us know if
Yeah.
you're a recliner or not. So I've got another one. Let's see.
Okay.
We go to
Ooh, okay. I'm going to pop into my pear martini hard seltzer. So Aldi Isle of Shame pint. Let's crack this bad boy open. 100 calories, one carb. I love how it says gluten free. Like, what kind of alcoholic drink's gonna have gluten in it?
grain. Right. Well, what's gluten? Oh, gluten is wheat. Is that right?
Yeah,
I don't even
like
know,
there's a lot of
honestly.
hard seltzers with. Oh, listen to that sound. Nice pear martini.
Okay, I
Woo-hoo.
did read this one and thought this one was interesting, so I wanted to
Okay,
get your take on
I'm
it.
ready. I'm Ritz when you are.
Would I be the asshole for buying my girlfriend a coach ticket while I fly in first class?
Yes.
Okay, so
What the fuck?
yeah, that's just the title. So let's hear his explanation. Maybe he
All
has
right, I'll hear you out,
maybe
but I already think you're an asshole. Just saying.
just from the
All
title.
right,
All
I'll
right.
listen.
Hi all. My girlfriend and I will be taking a trip in the spring. And this was written a couple years ago, so this was, he says in parentheses, COVID permitting, and have
Mm,
been discussing travel options to get there. I work in finance while she works in a research lab. I don't know why that's relevant, but okay. I
yeah.
told
Okay.
her I would purchase her ticket for her, and she was really grateful. However, problems would soon arise. I have enough money to book myself a first class ticket, and as I work 70 to 80 hours a week, so I think I deserve the luxury. I told her I didn't really want to spend the money on two first class tickets. I would be flying in first class and could book her on the same flight, but she would be in coach. She found this suggestion extremely unfair and called me an
It's
asshole.
it is. He is 100% an asshole. Like if that's
Yeah.
your girlfriend, if that's somebody you love, then you don't think very highly of her if you're like you can fly coach bitch, but I'm flying first class because
Well,
I make more money than you.
and then to offer, like he offered
Yeah,
to
don't
buy
act
it,
like
and
you're
then
such, yeah, I'll buy her a ticket, but I'm only buying you coach and then I plan to buy myself first class. That is 100% asshole.
right.
Asshole.
Yes, I agree. So did the comments. So here we go. Am I the asshole for not wanting my husband to sleep in the same hotel as his so-called work wife?
So so they're traveling, they're coworkers.
They're
She's a
coworkers.
girl.
He's a guy.
Why is she called his work wife? Because they work a lot together?
Probably. So so
So here's what I'm wondering. I would wonder, in the same hotel or the same
no, the same
hotel
room.
room?
Well, okay,
Oh,
actually, let me rephrase
no.
that. The title says, Am I the asshole for not wanting my husband to sleep in the same hotel as his so called work wife?
Hotel,
Okay,
I
well,
think is fine, but not the
right.
same room.
Okay, so
Not
let's
the
see.
same room
Yeah.
because you're in an intimate situation. You're getting ready for bed at night. You've got
All right,
like
let's see what
probably a
he
lot
said,
less
or let's see what
clothes.
she says. Sorry. My husband travels a lot for work, and I recently found out one of his coworkers calls herself his work wife. My
Mm,
husband was the one to tell me about it, telling me how he wasn't really comfortable with the name, but deals with it since he doesn't want to upset her. Okay, that's a
okay.
red flag right there because they don't have the
But if
same.
she's calling herself his work wife,
And
then
he's telling his wife that he doesn't like it. He's
I know,
uncomfortable with it.
but I don't
So
know. Read on, read on.
okay. I won't lie, hearing him say someone is calling themselves his work wife really pissed me off.
Hmm.
Even though I know I can trust him, it makes my blood boil knowing there's a woman who's at his workplace who definitely knows he has a wife and is calling themselves his work wife, which I get
Agreed.
that. I
I
don't
totally hear you. I hear you, lady. I hear you.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. My husband's not very friendly, so he's not going to get a work wife, but I don't know how I
But
would.
Nick is very friendly and very helpful. And I will say, there was this one chick that was clearly being flirty with my husband. I'm not a jealous person. I'm not because, well, I won't go into the whole explanation of why I'm not jealous of my husband being out and about. But he is very trustworthy. I don't, I know he would never stray, but she was being inappropriately flirty with him. And they would go out to lunch together and stuff. And I said, I'm not okay with you if you're not doing anything wrong, but because she's being
Her
obviously
behavior.
inappropriate, then I don't want you going out with her anymore for lunch and stuff.
I think
Especially not alone because she's made it
right.
very obvious that she has the hots for my husband. And I just think that's inappropriate. Like if and kind of like this lady saying she's his work wife, like she's putting a little something extra out
Yeah,
into
for
the
her to
universe.
I think it is weird when they don't mutually. I think having work wife, work husband in the sense of, hey, I'm going out to grab lunch. Do you want me to grab your lunch? Hey, don't forget to do XYZ. Like kind of taking care of each other, reminding each other things, kind of like what spouses would do. That's what I imagine that scenario would be. But it sounds like in this case, and in the case you were talking about, it's more flirty. And yeah, that's not inappropriate, or that's highly inappropriate. So let's see what about the trip, what she says.
Okay,
She goes
proceed.
on to say, my husband has to go on a trip for work, and he had told me that he has to share a room with her. Let's just
No,
call her Jenna.
hell no.
I told him that I
Could
wasn't
you call her
comfortable.
Jenna?
That's what she says in here.
Okay.
They'll that's what they do. They'll change the names for
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
privacy.
I got you.
So she goes on to say, I told him that I wasn't comfortable with him sleeping in the same hotel room as Jenna, and he assured me that it would be fine. No.
No,
I
hell no.
I trust him with my life, so I let him go. I feel like I shouldn't be jealous. It's just such a stupid thing to be jealous about. Am I the asshole?
No, no. And
No.
you know what? I think that those are valid feelings, first and foremost, because of the situation where this chick's calling him her work, or like he's his work wife. How, you know what I'm saying? My point
Right.
is, she seems sus majorly. Like, I don't,
Well, so did
she trusts
he.
her husband. She trusts her husband, but I still think that's inappropriate. Be getting in your pajamas and be, even if it's not the same bed, to be sharing an
Yeah, that's
intimate
not
sleeping
appropriate.
space. If you're, yeah, I'm all about, she's not an asshole.
No, not
And
at
I
all.
would be, I think her concerns are 100% valid. And honestly, she's a better woman than me because I'd be like, hell no, you ain't sleeping in the same room with this girl.
So here's one of the top comments that someone replied to, which
All
I
right,
think
let's
is
hear
pretty
it.
relevant. So the comment was, "Yep, my immediate reaction to this. He's lying his ass off about being made to share a room. Two possibilities. And someone else with two possibilities. The first is most likely. One, this is a made up story. Somebody got on the internet and told lies for their entertainment. Which, hey, that's fine. We got a kick out of it. Or this is a real story, and the first is not, and the husband is not only having an affair, but holds his
Yeah.
wife in such
Yep.
contempt that he's not even bothering with a believable cover story."
Yeah, because there's no way, I'm thinking about this a little more now, and there's no way a company could legit make two coworkers, one male, one female, share a hotel room for a work event. There's no way. There's no
And
way that the
as
business would do that.
HR would be like, no, I could see them having
Right.
two of the same sex, but I mean, we can't really do it that way. I think if you're traveling for work, your company should be covering their ass and everybody have their own room or have like a suite
Yeah.
so you actually
There
have privacy.
there's a lot of red flags at this point in this
And
story.
I agree with what this commenter said, that he holds his wife in contempt because he's not even bothering covering up with a cover. He didn't have to tell his wife any of that. So there's a reason why he told his wife that. Either he knew there was some way, there's other people on this trip that might talk about them sharing a room. So he started to, set the scene before they went on the
There's
trip
no
of why
way
they're
Nick would
together.
even come back to me and be like, babe, so I got this situation at work and they want me to share a room with Jenna. There's no way he would even come in because it's laughable, right?
Yeah,
There's no way a workplace would say you need to share a room with your female coworker. There's
right.
no way. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it.
Yeah, I
So he's either cheating or it's a made up story. I think it could be either. But if he legit is telling his wife that he has to share a room with a female coworker, that it's not that's not true.
I
He does.
think he is setting the scene because he's going on this work trip and he wanted time to hook up with his work girlfriend or work wife and knew that all the coworkers would see them together. So he's telling his wife ahead of time so that if she hears gossip about them two sharing a room, she'll be like,
So
"Oh, he already
clearly
told me."
she's not the asshole. He's the asshole.
Right. He's definitely the asshole in this situation. All right, last one. I thought this one was pretty
Oh,
good
that
because this,
one's perturbing me.
yeah, it's bothersome because I can see that because your husband travels for work. You would be pissed if
It wouldn't happen.
but
It would
if,
not happen.
right. He would go to you and be like, "Look, we got to figure out because my work has lost their mind trying to
I'll
make
be
this
like, I
happen."
will book you my TA. I'll book you another room, babe.
Right. This is when you show up and be like, "Excuse me, I just booked my trip here on your business trip. I'm in this room next door." All
Listen, that would
right.
not happen. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Okay. Last one for this episode. This happened about 6 years ago on a transatlantic red eye flight from Montreal to Paris. It actually wasn't a leisure trip. I was moving to Europe for grad school, had some rotten luck, and developed a horrible head cold the night before my flight. I was feeling miserable, but I had booked a window seat in advance, so my plan was to curl up into the side of the plane and try to rest. I arrive at my seat, and there's a man sitting there with his two small daughters, maybe 6ish years old. I politely suggest they may be in the wrong row because the window seat is mine. At this point, a flight attendant walks up and says, that the girls' seats were separated from their dad, and so she told him that he could have my seat in order for them to stay together. But surely I wouldn't mind taking his seat in the middle aisle, right? That's so this person goes on to say, I said that I actually did mind, that I had specifically booked a window seat when I bought my ticket months ago, and that I was really tired and sick and had already been traveling 10 hours on 2 previous connecting flights and just wanted to lie against the window and sleep. Plus, we weren't just talking about a couple hours in the afternoon, it was an overnight transatlantic flight. So I said I would only trade if they could give me another window seat. She said that there were probably none left, but we'll wait for everyone to board and then see if there's space. So I waited in the area while the girls kept looking over at me, clearly upset at the possibility of being separated from their dad. Eventually, I did get another window seat, but it was a whole thing. I don't think I'm the asshole because I found it really unprofessional of the flight attendant to just give away my seat before asking me, which forces me to be the mean lady who wants to separate these kids from their dad when it was the airline that separated them in the first place. But I also feel bad about making a fuss of it and stressing the kids out. Am I the asshole?
No, I don't think she's the asshole because she did book that seat. She was not feeling well. And the travel agent, the airline steward gave her seat away without asking first. And they were like, she walked into a shit show of a situation. So she either has to suck it up sick and sit in the middle of 2 people and not feeling well, or she has to seem like the bad guy, which she stated in the story. Because the little girls, I would imagine they'd be terrified at the thought of like whoever that dad, and I would have made sure if I had kids that young, I would make sure our seats are together prior to ever stepping foot onto that plane.
Yeah, she's
There's no way that I would be separated by my kids at that young of an age.
Yeah, she's definitely not the asshole. And I don't think the dad is necessarily the asshole because I think the flight attendant in this situation is the asshole because the flight attendant took it upon themselves to move this to try to fix the situation without all parties involved. Maybe the dad didn't even try. Maybe he was just like, hey, can you put us close together? Because I know on one flight, Brienne was like 4 or 5, so she had her own seat, but we were our flight was delayed, canceled. I don't remember. It snowed. There was ice. We were flying out of Dallas and we had like been on standby for the next flight, and all 3 of us got on, but they had me on one aisle seat and her on the other aisle across. And there were people beside us. I never even considered asking them to move. She was like 4 or 5. We just reached across and held hands. Now, that's not as bad as if she was like 2 rows back, because I don't even remember where Daniel was sitting at the time.
I would, if it was my small child, I would I don't mind if Nick's like somewhere else, but if I would make sure I'm with my child. It's fine. I don't want to inconvenience the airline, but I would for sure, if I had 1 or 2 small children with me, I would make sure we were together. I do not think it's fair for the flight attendant to give away a seat and offer it to somebody else without first checking to the person that bought that seat. As the flight attendant, I would have gone out of my way to try to get another window seat for that person before even approaching them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
a tricky one. But I don't think she's the asshole. She was put in a really bad situation that probably made her feel like an asshole, but she's not the asshole. And especially she's clearly sick, and moving across the country.
Well, and she pre-planned. Like, I know when I fly, I want to sit in a specific spot.
I want the window seat.
And I don't want the window seat. So I don't want the middle. I will pick we reserve our seats the second we buy our tickets. And there's a reason why you don't even have to justify.
Most of the time you have to pay extra to be able to pick your seat. It's not like basic economy where you just get assigned whatever. You're paying the extra money. So that lady paid for her window seat and she probably paid extra for it. and
Yeah.
she did her due diligence. So
And I don't
I
think
I don't think she's
anyone, whether
the
she was
bad
sick
guy.
or not, or whether that was her first flight trip of the day, I don't think you have to justify why you picked
No,
your seat or why you're
no,
in your seat. You don't have to justify why you don't want to give it up. It's no one's business. I
right.
think what I would hope, if I'm ever in a situation on a plane, this is my fear, because I don't really want that confrontation. I don't want to have to move my seat, because I don't I have anxiety when I like my spot. I pick my spot
Well,
for a
and it
reason.
gives you like, what was that movie where shit started going down and like the wit the just imagine it, and you don't even have to be that superstitious, but there's certain, like when you're assigned a spot on a plane and
Are you
say
talking
you
about
move
Final
your seat.
Destination?
Yes, Final
Yes.
Destination. I like, I want my seat. This is where I'm supposed to be. But sometimes moving that seat like saved somebody, right?
Like
But
in the
either
movie,
way,
yeah, he moved seats. So something happened, and he did survive because he moved seats. I get that. But I
I
think
just don't like to think that that is in my control, like that I'm now moving my seat, and what if it helps me live or helps me die? I don't know.
right.
I just want to have the seat that I was assigned.
Yeah, you're
Unless they want to
superstitious
move me
like
up to first
me.
class and give me a glass of champagne, and then
Right?
all is
Why is it
forgiven.
that we will absolutely give up our favorite seat for a first class seat in a heartbeat? And all of our superstitions go out the window when they're like, "Hey, would you like to move to first class?"
I'm thinking, hello,
Yeah,
yeah, like because that seems like an improvement for sure. And the seats are
right.
bigger. They give you champagne
And
and
I guess
little
if something
blankies.
bad were going to happen, we'd have champagne as it's happening.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it's elegant, more, I guess, tragedy.
The what I want to take away from this last one though is that lady is not the asshole. She had every right to feel what she was feeling, because it was a really bad situation that she was put in. So I just
Right.
want to leave it. I do want to end it at that. That lady is not the asshole.
Okay, so for your first kind of walkthrough of Am I the Asshole versions, what did you think, Denise? How'd you like the way
I
it
thought
played out?
maybe I get passionate about these
You just-
situations.
That's good though. That's what makes good conversation. And
Oh, next time I'm gonna have to read them and you're gonna react because
okay, yeah,
maybe
that
I
sounds good.
I do have big feelings.
No, that's okay though. Maybe what we'll do now that you kind of see how I'm telling you though, once you start down this Reddit deep dive, it's going to be interesting. But one, we'll go back and forth. You read one, I'll read one, and we'll see how we act or react to it. But I think I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a good
I hope that I didn't
travel.
I hope I did not walk away. I hope I did not seem too passionate about the situations. But
No,
I'm trying to put
mhm.
myself in the situation, you know?
Yeah. Well, this was a great episode. This was fun.
Yep. So that is what it is. We went there
Yeah.
and we said what we said and I meant what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. And we do travel a lot, so I feel like we could even have our own Am I the Asshole episode based on our
Yeah.
actual things that have happened to us traveling.
Right.
Um, but yeah, to maybe, yeah. I was gonna say maybe I wouldn't be as passionate about it, but for sure I would. I'm just a passionate person.
I can't wait to see what ones we come up with for the next episode of Am I the
Yeah.
Asshole Travel Edition. But
Yeah,
thank
we
you
will
guys
bring
for
this back
listening and
again.
hanging out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.